folks, welcome to Big Talk. We're on that camera right there, guys.
Okay.
Big Talk with Bruce Dickey here on Wabash Cats TV. Thank you all so much for tuning in today. By golly, we had them on a couple of months ago. They were such a good crowd. We wanted to make sure we got them back before the big reenactment. Remember, here's Jim Koehler from Salem, Illinois, along with Myron, Lloyd from Salem, Illinois, and we are going to talk today, among other things, about basically a lot of history in Salem and in Marion County, and as well as down in southern Tennessee, I guess, right?
Right. Yeah.
We're going to talk about the Scopes trial reenactment with Myron and Jim here in a little bit. Here on Big Talk on this gorgeous. It is June 24th. Tuesday, June 24th. Let's tell you a little bit about some things going on in and around our area here on this beautiful day. Actually, not a ton of things going on here on this Tuesday, but what is going on is pretty exciting. If you're watching this show and you enjoy kind of history, there is the Hemmings Great Race is going on today. It will hit Effingham. They're going to have a big stop at the Effingham Performance Center at 11 o'clock this morning. This is a 9-day classic car race. It's presented by Koehler Tire. It spans more than 2,300 miles, features 120 of the world's finest antique automobiles. It features 17 city stops, including this hosted lunch stop in Effingham at EPC, up there in Effingham, starting at 11. Annual event features a different route each year and offering a rare opportunity for residents of Effingham and wherever to see these spectacular cars and meet the drivers from all over the world. There are more than, last year they had several overnight stops with more than 10,000 spectators on their way to having 250,000 people in total saw this great race over the course of the event. Teams and cars from Japan, from England, Australia, Canada, and every corner of the United States have been involved in this. Also, there's some antique motorcycles that will be in this great race. In last year's great race, the winner, tell me, fellas, if you've ever seen one of these things, a 1916 Hudson Hill Climber.
No. Can't say as it have.
I can't either. I mean, I think I've seen a Hudson one time.
Yes, I've seen Hudson.
I've seen Hudson.
Yeah. But I've never seen a hill climber. Second place, a 1913 Chevrolet and a 1918 American LaFrance are the oldest cars scheduled to be in this year's great race. Either of you guys, the big antique car aficionados?
No, but we are going to have them at the Scopes trial.
Oh, really?
We're going to have
Is there a car show?
No, it's not really a car show. We just got wanted some more things, and so
I saw that picture has the car from Christmas or something.
Yeah, the guy,
Yes.
the hit's going to be there along with 6 or 7 other cars are going to be coming.
That's
here
great.
as well.
That'll be really cool. Again, this is the total purse in the event is over $160,000, split among 5 classes. So you'll be able to see all those cars again at the 2025 Great Race. They are on their way from St. Paul, Minnesota, down to Irmo, South Carolina. I have no idea where Irmo, South Carolina is, near Lake Murray, wherever that is in South Carolina. It stops in Minnesota, Iowa, Illinois, Kentucky, West Virginia, North Carolina, and South Carolina. That sounds like a lot of fun. Hope you all enjoy that. That's again on Tuesday at 11 o'clock, today the 24th. On Wednesday, the national NAL. What the heck's that? NAL is North American Lighting.
Yeah.
I was trying to remember what it was. North American Lighting having their retiree and employee cookouts on Wednesday. They'll have one at 10 to 1 in the afternoon, and then also get back together at 6 to 7:45 for those folks who can't make the earlier version. NAL hosting their cookouts for the retirees and their employees. If you used to work at NAL but have since retired, they say feel free to attend. Again, Wednesday, they'll have pork burgers, hamburgers, cookies, chops, chips, not chops. Chops cost a little bit more than chips. Chips, popcorn, and plenty more. Over at Centralia House in Centralia, at the Liberty Village of Centralia, they are hosting an open house. I've been there. It's a nice place. They will ask you to take a tour of their beautiful facility, meet the amazing staff members, and enjoy a fun evening of hors d'oeuvres, refreshments, and entertainment. Anytime, ladies and gentlemen, they're giving away free food and refreshments. I'm going to tell you about it because you can find your way around and have a good time. It's in free food on Wednesday night, though, at the Songwriter Open Mic Night. That is at Poss Music Works puts it on. That is at Village Wine up in Effingham. They'll probably be a little slow this week with having just come off the big Moccasin Creek Festival over the weekend, but they're still having the big get-together, and you can sign up to play or just come out and enjoy the show. It starts Wednesday night at 7:30 p.m. What else going on today, ladies and gentlemen? Did I get the switch back? Yeah, National Pralines Day is June 24th. This honors a confection made from nuts, whether in whole pieces or ground, and sugar syrup. Pralines may also refer to any chocolate cookie containing the ground powder of nuts. I did not realize that distinction. French sugar industrials, Marshall de Plessis Praline, originally inspired the early pralines. When do you think pralines were invented, fellas? Any idea?
I don't have any idea. I don't care for them.
I just come here to
Too sugary, isn't it?
to learn
Too
all
sugary.
I just come here to learn everything.
You're coming here to learn. You're a teacher, for crying out loud. You ought to know these things.
I should know it.
You should know that. That was actually he lived from 1598 to $1675.
That's what I was going to say.
Oh,
Yeah, you meant to say that. Yeah.
I would have thought about that.
Yeah, I could tell. You were both expecting that. That's for sure. He was the Viscount during the 17th century. He created the first pralines made with almonds and individually coated in caramelized sugar. There are three different kinds of pralines. Belgian pralines contain a hard chocolate shell with softer liquid filling. French pralines, a combination of almonds and caramelized sugar. And American pralines contain milk or cream and are softer and creamier, resembling fudge. So there you go. What else is today, ladies and gentlemen? This is National, I didn't get any of the pictures set up. Doggone it. We'll get all those pictures in later. This is National Parfait Day, National Strawberry Parfait Day. Actually, this is tomorrow, June 25th. It is a peak strawberry season, maybe a little late for peak strawberry season, but you might be able to still find some strawberries. Parfait, okay, now again, teacher, what does the word parfait mean?
Ice cream.
That's a great guess. How about you, Myron? You got
Sunday.
It is French for perfect.
Oh, okay.
Parfait.
It's a perfect
French
Sunday,
for
then.
perfect. Yeah, I like a good parfait. Yeah, that's the way. Yeah, French for perfect. Strawberries in season in June. That's what makes this the perfect summer thing. They are an excellent source of vitamin C, folic acid, potassium, and fiber. And at 55 calories and 0 fat per cup, they are a nice way to enjoy a nice treat if you can handle it. I know a lot of people have. I got a friend with diverticulitis.
Or nut allergies.
Yeah, or nut allergy. Yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah, you wouldn't want that. What else going on today, ladies and gentlemen? Well, on the 25th is National Catfish Day. National Catfish Day celebrates the value of farm-raised catfish. As a diverse group of ray-finned fish, catfish are named for their prominent barbels, or barbels? Do you call it? Is that word barbels or B-A-R-B-E-L? It's a barbel, right?
I just called them whiskers.
Whiskers. Well, see, now that makes sense.
Yes.
That makes more sense. The whiskers, which resemble cat whiskers. There you go. These nocturnal swimmers don't have any scales, so their smooth flesh makes it difficult for anglers to clean. And in the U.S., channel catfish and blue catfish are the most commonly eaten species of catfish. In 1986, catfish comprised the third highest volume of finned fish consumed in the United States. So that probably still about the same thing today. This date was proposed in 1987. President Ronald Reagan designated June 25th as National Catfish Day by presidential proclamation after Congress called for the day to be established. I think there was probably a catfish farmer who had maybe in Congress or something.
I think so.
Doesn't that make sense?
I don't eat catfish. So.
Maybe
Do you not?
Maybe giving some money to President Reagan during his
May have
campaign.
given a little bit of cash to the president. You don't eat cat? Do you eat fish at all?
I like cod.
Oh,
I like
really?
Atlantic cod.
Wait, is catfish too dirty for you?
Yeah, it's a scavenger. I just don't like to eat it. However, at the same time, buffalo is a scavenger. And when I was young, I really enjoyed buffalo, but my wife eats catfish, but I just don't care for
Well,
it.
there you go. How about you? You like catfish?
I eat any kind of fish. Somebody cooks it, I'll eat it.
Cooked, fried, raw, just not raw. Actually, I'll eat a little raw.
Raw shrimp's pretty good.
Raw shrimp, I'll eat sushi. So, I mean,
I can't go to sushi. My grandkids can, but I can't.
You won't eat sushi?
No, I can't do sushi.
Well, I can't.
But everything else,
there you go.
I'm ready.
That's fine. What do you want to see on television today, ladies and gentlemen? Major League Baseball. All the sports, the other winter sports, finally over. Hockey is over. Basketball is over. The Oklahoma Thunder or Oklahoma City Thunder won the NBA championship on Friday or Sunday night. So it's just baseball. Well, I do have a little soccer as well. Baseball. The Arizona Diamondbacks will be at Chicago White Sox tonight. That's at 6:40 on the Chicago Sports Network, channel 353. Ryan Nelson versus Sean Burke. Big week in St. Louis this week. 4 games against the Cubs. As tonight, it is Tuesday night, Jameson Taillon versus Eric Fetty. Fetty's done okay. He's maybe a little better than expected.
yes, he is. He's done a lot better. He's gone longer than what they thought in innings.
Didn't he have a 9-inning start the other day?
He went, I don't know if he went, no,
He went the whole way?
he went. We might have. I think he did, yes.
Didn't get the shutout or something,
No.
but
He got
pitched
the
real
win.
well.
Yeah.
The Cardinals, Eric Fetty against the Cubs tonight. That's at 6:45. You can watch it on the Cardinal feed will be on FanDuel Network, channel 370. The Cubs feed is on Marquee, channel 367. 6:10 tonight, the Braves are at the Mets. That's on TBS, channel 272. I did this on Friday last week because I still had Chris Sale in the lineup. Chris Sale got hurt over the weekend. The reason I know that, he's on my fantasy league team, and so I'm very distraught. He was having a good year.
Yes.
That's on TBS channel 272, and at 8:40 tonight, or 8:40 tonight, Washington is at San Diego. That's on MLB Network. Trevor Williams versus Ryan Bergert, Bergert. The CONCACAF Gold Cup. 4 games tonight as they wrap up pool play. The one that is interesting to me, Canada plays El Salvador in Houston at 9 o'clock tonight on Fox Sports 1. We're going to have all kinds of fun today, talking about William Jennings Bryan, Clarence Darrow, may even talk a little bit, folks, about the big train wreck of 1971.
1971. Yep.
You're watching Big Talk here with Jim Koehler along with Myron Lloyd. Back right after these. Do stick around.
When you want an honest deal and hometown service without the runaround, go to Lamont Chevrolet Chrysler in Fairfield. Let Gabe McGahey, Sheldon Bunning, Jeff Black, Dennis Downs, Matthew Rogers, or Caleb Dunn score the best deal for you on your next new or pre-owned vehicle. Parts and service departments with factory-trained technicians and express lane and state-of-the-art tire and alignment technology. Lamont always inspects your battery, antifreeze, wipers, and tires for free. We want you prepared for the open road ahead. Open 24/7 at LeMansOnline.com. You'll like the way we do business.
Hello Hello, folks. Bruce Dickey here with Wabash Cats TV. Thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you also for tuning into Wabash Cats TV's Big Talk with Bruce Dickey. You can find it here daily at 9 a.m. and at 1 p.m. Talk about all kinds of different subjects. People, interesting folks in the community, community events coming up, just all kinds of stuff that will matter to you. Appreciate you tuning in. Thanks a lot. Briscoe Surplus Sales on the northeast edge of Flora is your one-stop do-it-all shop. Looking for rugged boots and footwear from great brands like Lacrosse, Rocky, and Carolina? They're there. How about top-notch small engine parts and service? Briscoe Surplus Sales has it. Whether you're wiring your switches or switching your wiring, Briscoe Surplus Sales has the solution and the know-how to help you get the job done right the first time. Briscoe Surplus Sales, your one-stop do-it-all shop.
My grandfather, Carol Rush, opened Rush Appliance in October of 1949. This is Sean Rush, and I am driven by the same determination and commitment to quality that has set us on the road to success. A lot has changed in the appliance industry since 1949, but at Rush Appliance, we're doing everything we can to remain trusted, strong, and competitive. We are extremely proud of our roots, and we look forward to providing you with quality and service at Rush Appliance and Furniture Company in downtown Fairfield.
It is all things new at Zimdar's Heating, Air Conditioning, and Appliance Repair. We have a new line of heating and cooling equipment and new technicians. Our new equipment line offers 24 months free financing and excellent warranty coverage. Our experienced service technicians can provide you with quality service and repairs on all brands of HVAC equipment. Zimdar's has been serving Clay County and the surrounding areas for over 23 years. The employees of Zimdar's are here to help, so call local and call Zimdar's.
Hey folks, welcome back. Big Talk with Bruce Dickey here on Wabash Cash TV. Thank you so much for being here today. My guests again, Jim Koehler here, along with Myron Lloyd. And the last time you were here, actually, I think we probably spent a little bit more time than I intended on Mr. Bryan himself.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of folks maybe didn't realize or unaware that he is from Salem, Illinois.
That's right.
And what his accomplishments were over the course. A tremendously accomplished man.
Yes, it was, very much so.
With roots in Salem, Illinois, and a birthplace in Salem that you can tour.
Free.
For free.
Right.
Let's talk about that, and then we'll get to the big scopes thing. Okay. Tell me about the house, and I know that you have 3 different tours.
Well, we have
the 10-minute, the 45-minute, the 700-hour tour.
We go up to 4 hours. That's an hour in each room, which we can do that. But it's in the original house that he was born in. It's still there, right next to the library on South Broadway, and it is. We've pretty well completely redone it and brought in a lot of things. We've got a lot of artifacts that deal with Bryan, and we're there to help and tell us what's happening with them, and we let them look at them, touch them, and things like that. So it's
when you say you've redone it, this basically the don't want to say renovation, but the not reconfiguration, I guess the museum coming back to life, refreshment of the museum started to win.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. It started a year ago in March.
Okay.
Yeah, and so it's really grown. In fact, we are going to only have we're only going to have scheduled tours on a monthly basis.
Oh, really?
The first Sunday of each month. Through October, because so many people have been through the home, like over 1,000 people have gone through, and more, So we are open for private appointment though, and private tours.
Do you get? I don't mean to get too far off the track today, but do you get like scholars and folks, historians, come in and try to and want to refamiliarize themselves with the time period?
The most valuable we've had so far was, of course, a lady that represented the Smithsonian Institute. Mm-hmm. She actually spent about 9 hours, 9 hours total not just in the home, but in those things that are all about Brian.
Right.
She was here, which gave credence, I think, to the people of Salem, and they realized that what they really have.
That's the thing and it's kind of one of the reason I wanted you back on again, because you want to inform people the special thing the museum is, and not a gift, but a special trait of Salem having that.
It's wonderful,
house.
And actually, then of course the park, which is named after the Bryan family itself, but then even the home is wonderful. But when you think about the Bryan statue that is signed by Gutzler Borglum, I mean,
Borglum, the Mount Rushmore,
right, and the life masks that were done because it was trendy to do that, at the time.
How did that get out of trend?
I don't really know. Yeah, you hear about the life masks, but then later on, the death masks were very important. And people, when they come in, they think they're death masks, but they're not, and that's part of our.
I think I told you last time I had just read a book about the convention of 1860, where they nominated Abraham Lincoln. He had a life mask done. Immediately after that.
Yes.
Immediately, the people came from Chicago down to Springfield to do the Lincoln life mask.
And they displayed them in their homes.
Yeah.
I mean, they kept them on display.
Nobody does that.
No, thank goodness.
Thank goodness, it's right.
But anyway, I'm glad we have them, The main thing about what Jim's doing, I think that's important, is we have a lot of things Bryan.
Right.
But the trial, so many people do not understand even the basis of that trial.
Let's talk about that. Here's the.
He's bringing that back to life.
Here's the flyer to tell you a little bit about what's going on July 12th at Bryan Memorial Park, and this will be. There are 2 live trial reenactments, right?
Yes.
At 11 a.m. and at 1:30. So, and the reenactment takes about an hour and a half.
Yeah, right at an hour. Yeah.
And there will be concessions, historical displays. It's got a few antique cars will be there. Where in the park is that taking place?
Right at where the stage is. If you come into Salem, you'll be able to see it from the highway.
From Route 37.
Yeah, from Route 37. You can't miss the park.
That's the thing. Where the stage is, of course, they have the occasional band concert.
That's it, right?
And it's actually almost directly west of the statue. So if the statue's on your right, look west, and at an angle, it will take you right
The
up.
statue is across
the street,
right?
And everything in that park, there are pathways and driving to everything. Salem is a golf cart town.
Yep.
I mean, so people can visit and watch part of the reenactment if they want, and then come back and see the end of it or the next one. Let's talk about the reenactment. Tell me what the development is in the reenactment. What got you started to want to do this?
Well, like we said, we wanted to bring Brian in to let people in Salem know about Brian, because a lot of people in Salem didn't even know who Brian was. He's a 3-time loser. Just talked to a guy the other day. He said
wait a minute.
He's a 3-time loser. Why would anybody want to know anything about it?
That is so cold.
I know.
I was going to say he made it farther than you.
Yeah, no kidding.
So a lot of people didn't realize he was Secretary of State at one time. So we're one of the few cities that has a major candidate and Secretary of State, and the youngest man ever to run for president at the age of 36.
That's just
because
impossible.
that is
And
a
head
man
of the
willing to
Democratic
become
Party
president
until he died. Until the day he died. Yeah.
So anyway, and many people don't know about the Scopes trial. They don't have any idea. And so we are putting it on, and the whole thing is to bring it out and let people know that this was the biggest thing that they hoodwinked the people to get stories.
This is fascinating to me. The hoodwinking of the people.
Yeah.
In it was there was a time of muckraking and all that kind of stuff anyway.
Yeah.
But
you think about how shallow the people had to be mentally, really, when you think about it, that they were drug in to believe.
This is fascinating to me. I've seen the movie Inherit the Wind. from a novel, and I mean, and it's basically it's a dramatization.
Yes, it is.
But this reenactment is not Inherit the Wit.
No,
this is
this is the original. Us and Dayton, Tennessee are the only two places putting this on in the United States.
And this is and this year is the 100-year.
This is and this made it just a prime time. It's been 100 years since the Scopes trial, and then Brian died 4 days after the trial, so we're celebrating his death as well as celebrating the trial, but it just so happened on the same day. And Dayton is doing the same thing.
Celebrating his life.
Yeah, his life.
But he's been past 100 years.
Yes.
I tell you what, let's do. We're going to come back. We are going to talk more about the trial, as well as I want him to talk more about the duping. That is fantastic. You're watching Big Talk with Bruce Dickey. I've got Jim Koehler here along with Myron Lloyd. We'll be right back after these words, talking about William Jennings Bryan and the Scopes monkey trial. Back in a sec.
For service beyond the surface, call Carter Trucking in Fairfield. Carter's trucks are ready to haul your big freight and grain. So whatever you call Jeremy Carter, the Mucho Mulcho Man, the driveway doctor, the gravel guru, the pothole pirate, the rockin' redneck, the smooth operator, the mudhole master, or the happy hauler, just call him. 842-2022 to haul your big freight, grain, and more with trucks from Carter Trucking, Williamson Drive in Fairfield.
When you want an honest deal and hometown service without the runaround, go to Lamont Chevrolet Chrysler in Fairfield. Let Gabe McGahey, Sheldon Bunning, Jeff Black, Dennis Downs, Matthew Rogers, or Caleb Dunn score the best deal for you on your next new or pre-owned vehicle. Parts and service departments with factory-trained technicians and express lane and state-of-the-art tire and alignment technology. Lamont always inspects your battery, antifreeze, wipers, and tires for free. We want you prepared for the open road ahead. Open 24/7 at LeMansOnline.com. You'll like the way we do business.
Having car trouble, need a tow, or just some routine maintenance? Butcher Automotive in Louisville has you covered. Locally owned and operated, Butcher Automotive offers complete vehicle repair services along with tire sales and wheel alignment. They're your local hand-cooked tire and interstate battery dealer. Butcher Automotive offers free local pickup and delivery so your car can be repaired while you're at work or at home. Butcher strives to treat everyone's vehicle as their own. At Butcher Automotive, they don't want you to give them your business, they want to earn it.
Cooper.
And I am Stacey Earlywhite, and together we host By the Way with Beth and Stacey.
It airs Monday through Friday on Wabash Channel 100 at 11 a.m. and again at 3 p.m.
We love to follow Clay County history, and we've been venturing out too in other counties. We absolutely love history.
You can also find us on YouTube. Our YouTube channel is By the Way with Beth and Stacey, or like and follow us on Facebook.
Hey folks, welcome back. Big Talk with Bruce Dickey. We're talking about the Scopes Monkey Trial reenactment taking place on July 12th in Salem. Again, here are the details of it. It is at Bryan Memorial Park, Saturday, July 12th from 10 to 3. They're going to have two different live trial reenactments. Okay, before we get to the reenactments, and I know that you've got a crew working on this that are just doing your reenactors and actors are outstanding.
Right.
Go into this duping thing. What was that?
Well, the city of Dayton was going to be in financial trouble because a coal mine was going to be shutting down. Yeah. And the man named Rapopoli got together with the president of the school board, and they found out that the Butler Act had passed in Tennessee, which you couldn't teach evolution in school. Mm-hmm. The ACLU was just beginning, and they were looking for a trial case.
They needed something to get going.
They needed something to get going to challenge this. Yeah. So they decided, hey, we can have that here. We can get William Jennings Bryan, who would be followed by thousands of people. We'll get Darrow, because Bryan and Darrow were friends.
Yeah.
And we get Darrow to be on the defense side, and we will have plenty of people come to Dayton. They'll spend their money, they'll do everything, and it'll all be great. So how are we going to do this? So they decided that first of all, they needed somebody to teach. So they called Scopes in, who was from Salem, Illinois as well. And we mentioned Brian spoke at the commencement address. And they asked him, we need you to teach evolution in the principal science class, because she was going to be gone. He taught biology and was a football coach. And so they said, hey, we need you to come in there and teach that, and then teach evolution, and that's it. So
did he know what he was getting into?
he did not. He did not. He just thought it was going to be, I think he thought it was just going to be kind of a local thing, and the school board wants him to do it, so what the heck?
How can he get in trouble?
He's a football coach. You know, football coaches will always accept
football coaches are, well, they're thinking about other things.
Yeah. So he did
about football.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happened. Was so they got everything together, and they had him go in the class, and they asked, and then Darryl got down there, and he said, "Well, did he teach you evolution?" Well, we don't really think so. What do you talk about? We talked about football all the time. So they had Darryl said, we've got to have them teach. So they loaded him up in a car, drove around Dayton with Scopes, and he taught them about evolution. So now if they went to trial and they testified, they wouldn't perjure themselves.
Yeah.
They could say, yes, he taught us evolution. Just don't say where. And so that got going. So then they got the trial going.
Here's where the trial is. That's the courthouse, right?
That's the courthouse. That's the Ray Courthouse. And then the second floor, all the way to the back, that's where the trial was held. And that's where the trial will be held this year. They still have that courthouse in Dayton, Tennessee. They don't, just about 4 years ago, they got out of that, and they built a new courthouse. But they have their reenactment inside there, and it's air conditioned now because the weather was about like it is outside today.
Yeah,
while the trial was going on.
Terrifically unpleasant.
And so they got everything going. That's a picture of the trial. Down up front is where the trial's taking place, and you can see how many people are packed in there, and it was terrible.
Sinking on the floor.
Was the floor sinking?
The floor was
moving.
Was the ceiling was falling down to the first floor.
Because
there was no fire guy come in and say, hey, you can't have 1,000 people in there. They were sitting in the windows behind us where that picture was taken. There's windows and people were sitting in those.
Well, I was going to say, kind of looking at that, you can see the arched windows.
Yeah. And there were no. I don't even know that there were fans now, but I'm not sure there were any fans, electric fans or anything to help keep out the heat and humidity during that time. So.
Well, they didn't have air conditioning.
They didn't have air.
This is mid-July, probably, right now.
Right now, exactly. The weather is about like it is now. And so they decided they got everything going. They got the trial, and it did exactly what they'd hoped. WGN out of Chicago came down to broadcast it all across the world.
Yeah. It
was the first trial broadcast around the world. It was the biggest trial in the history of the last century, by the fact of the OJ trial probably had more because of the media.
Right.
But people would listen to it. Every 30 minutes they would have, okay, we're down here. An update. And WGN paid $1,000 to get the electric in there. People stayed, if you go through Dayton today, next week actually when they start, you can visit the businesses downtown, and they'll tell you how many people slept here and who slept there, and
so it is still. I mean, it's still paying dividends for Dayton, Tennessee.
It is.
Well, this trial that basically they're just using.
Yeah.
Right.
Scopes and the families, and for that matter, Brian kind of.
Yeah, Brian was in the same thing, but he was not aware of it.
He wasn't aware that he was there.
I don't believe I've never read anything where he was in on any of this. He wouldn't have been in there, I think, if he had known that, because he was a very honest person. So they just kept everything going, publicizing. They did everything. They sold trinkets. They did everything they could.
And this picture's after they've moved outside.
That is Brian right there, almost in the upper right. That's him sitting up there. And the jury is right behind him. And when I was down there, I was sitting right there, and I told Mr. Brian, I said, hey, Salem, Illinois sends your best regards. He said, thanks, and that's all I talked to. He didn't talk to me anymore. But
maybe he didn't know Brian was from Salem.
Yeah, maybe he might not. However, that guy
whatever lies they had planned, they couldn't go through with.
That guy is now living in Dallas, Texas, and he flies up every year to play Brian.
Oh, so they get the same Brian.
Oh, they got the same Brian, the same Darrow. Jim Fry plays Darrow. And he's been playing Darrow for almost 20 years.
Tell me about this picture.
This is the last picture taken of Brian. He is just, I think
Alive.
he's just right. He just gotten back from attending a Sunday school in Chattanooga, and he's coming back, and he's going to go eat after this is over. And then he told his wife, who was an invalid at this time, that he was going to go upstairs and critique his final speech. Because, see, the deal was Brian...
He was supposed to get a final speech.
Brian was called to testify at the trial.
Unusual.
Very unusual. And he said, well, what do I'm just going to tell the truth, so it's no big deal. They said you shouldn't do that, and if you watch the courts today, you never testify, but he did, and he didn't come out looking very good. Darrell made him look. Well, the deal was he was going to be cross-examined, then he was going to get to examine
He was going to be able to cross-examine Darrell, you're right.
And, make him look like a fool. But the judge, Ralston was his name, and he was running for re-election, so he thought this would be a big thing for him. So he said, nope, trial's over. And he ended the trial, and the jury went out for 9 minutes, came back in, and declared him guilty. Now, Brian and Darrow, during the course of the trial towards the end, because it was really took the toll on them.
Yeah.
Because of the heat, the hot, and everything else. And they did go outside, which you can't do, but they did. And they both agreed he was guilty. He taught it.
Yeah.
So let's get him guilty.
They wanted him guilty so they could appeal.
Could take it up to the next level.
Wow.
But they'd done so many things that were not legal, like taking the court outside, just the whole thing. So it got turned over, and it never followed up the whole time.
Brian did win in the end because he wrote that speech became his last book.
Oh, is that right? Okay, I did not realize
speech,
that.
And
I didn't.
sold
I mean,
that.
since he never delivered it.
Yeah.
But it's available.
It was written.
We should have brought that.
I didn't know you had that.
It's available. They think now, Jim Fry called me here about a month ago and said they found a copy of it, and it's believed that he might have given that to one of the businesses in town, the groups in town. They think that he might have given that, and that's where that copy came from.
We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back here talking more about the reenactment coming up on July 12th one reenactment starts at 10 or 11 o'clock, the next one at 1:30 here with Jim and Myron. Back in a sec.
When Justin, a local volunteer firefighter, needs one of the department's trucks serviced, he calls Cam, whose repair company keeps everything rolling. In turn, Justin helps keep Cam and all of the community safe. Together, they support each other. And Wayne White Electric Cooperative supports them and every member with safe and reliable power. It's why REMCs exist. And together, it all works.
Residents of the Clay County and surrounding area have relied on Clay County State Bank for sound professional service for over 100 years. With convenient lobby and drive-up hours, we are ready to serve you Monday through Saturday. We appreciate all who bank with us, and we look forward to the opportunity of working with anyone who is looking for a community bank to help with their financial needs. Give us a call at 665-3314, visit us online, or stop by and see us on the square in Louisville to experience our friendly personal service.
When you want an honest deal and hometown service without the runaround, go to Lamont Chevrolet Chrysler in Fairfield. Let Gabe McGahey, Sheldon Bunning, Jeff Black, Dennis Downs, Matthew Rogers, or Caleb Dunn score the best deal for you on your next new or pre-owned vehicle. Parts and service departments with factory-trained technicians and express lane and state-of-the-art tire and alignment technology. Lamont always inspects your battery, antifreeze, wipers, and tires for free. We want you prepared for the open road ahead. Open 24/7 at LeMansOnline.com. You'll like the way we do business.
I thought I'd lost my business in that fire, but my agent was there before the flames were out. He said, together, we're going to rebuild. Our employees depended on it. My independent agent and auto owners made sure we didn't skip a beat. I mean, we didn't miss a single payroll.
For whatever lies ahead, we're always there. Auto Owners Insurance. North Wayne Insurance Agency in Flora is your local independent auto owners insurance agency.
Hey, folks, welcome back to Big Talk with Bruce Dickey here on Wabash Cash TV. Thank you so much for joining. Today we are talking about here's the monkey trial reenactment. It's taking place July 12th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. It come and go, though. I mean, it's not going to be something you're going to. There are going to be two different reenactments of basically two performances of the same reenactment.
Yeah, it'll be the same people.
No, use the same script both times.
Yeah, it's the same.
You don't need to see them, but it's not part one, part two.
Yeah, and of course,
my opinion, yours. Yeah.
We are selling T-shirts because everybody needs T-shirts.
Sure. Oh, but yeah. Where's that sticker at?
Yeah,
you're going to be selling. I've got a sticker.
These T-shirts will be one in a kind because not too many people will be around when the next 200 years.
You guys aren't going to be presenting the 200-year reenactment?
We are not anticipating that, but we think that'll probably happen. So those are stickers. We have other ones that are along with that people can use those to stick on anything.
Yeah.
Those will be for sale as the shirts will be, but we have the fans that you see will be for free. Probably need them that day. We're anticipating some heat.
See, now that's pretty cool. And it's a good fan. It's a nice, it's a flexible plastic stick rather than wood.
Actually, we're donated by Krause Funeral Home.
Is that right?
Right across from the Bryant's.
That's the only place you can get those kind of fans.
Yeah,
funeral home. So.
That's the only place you ever see them.
Yeah, that's it. That's it exactly. You still see those. So, yeah, we're expecting the television stations out of St. Louis have said that they would like to come out and do that, and we're going to have a documentary, and so we hope everything will turn out well for it, and you'll enjoy it. We've seen the play, the guys that are in there, and the gals really have done a good job.
You've got Matt Donahoe will portray.
Matt Donahoe plays William Jennings Bryan. He's a teacher at the high school and is with the theater department, and he does an outstanding job.
Didn't he announce too at the WJBD at one time?
He did. He was an announcer at WJBD, and he is playing Brian, and he gives Brian's speech and does him and Matt Wilsbach, who plays Darrow right here. They really get into it just like Darrow and Brian did at the original trial, and they are. Once they start, you just kind of listen because they're really interesting. So
you'll see that here's a kind of tell us about Mr. Scopes.
That's Scopes right there. He was offered his job back. People think they didn't hire him back, but they really liked him down there in Dayton.
Oh, really?
Yes. And
I didn't know he lost his job over the trial.
Well, he didn't. They asked him to come back, and he thought, after all of this stuff, I don't think I want to be
can you imagine
part of that? Yeah. So
can you imagine had he stayed?
Yeah.
In Dayton, the kooks and stuff that would have come around his house. I mean, you think they're kooks now? There were kooks 100 years ago.
Kook's a kook.
Well,
kook's a kook. 100, 500 years ago.
You think that evolution is still 100 years later. Still, what do you do about it in school?
Yeah.
We didn't solve anything. But he later goes to Chicago to go to college, and he actually stays at Darrow's house.
Oh, I didn't know that.
For a couple of weeks while he's up there. And then he gets in the gas and oil business, goes to South America, Venezuela, I know he went there, and other places. Finally ended up back in Louisiana and is buried in Paducah, Kentucky. And they have his grave marked, but we've talked to some people that have gone there. And
I've been there. You have to look for it.
You got to know where you're going.
Oh, really?
They don't.
They put a sign up at the entrance, but then
I'm remembering the cemetery.
You go as you leave that area. It's to the right if you're headed back towards Salem or.
Is it so? You've got the Brookport Bridge.
Right.
It's toward the Brookport Bridge.
Right. Yeah, and it's a well cared for cemetery. It's nice, it's not a.
How long did the man live?
I don't.
That's a good question. I don't know. He lived quite a long. I mean, it wasn't like he died He lived quite a few years, but I cannot tell you.
That Brian's home is still standing in Salem, and so is Scope's home that his parents.
Scope's home is in Salem as well, huh?
Right. His parents they came to Salem because his father was with the railroad.
Okay.
And it's on Lincoln Street of all things.
How about that?
Yeah.
I wonder, surely Darrow's house is still standing in Chicago, I suspect.
I don't know. I don't know.
I'm not sure where he lived. Was it on South
Probably
Side?
I don't know.
Probably Oak Park or something.
But his
like
family,
that was 100 years ago. That was when where the rich people lived.
Yeah.
We drove through the neighborhood. The reason I say that, we drove through the neighborhood last September, where all these Wright homes and stuff, and
the South Lakeshore Drive used to be beautiful.
It wouldn't be there anymore.
It's all gone.
Yeah,
for the most part. It's all.
Oh, this is fantastic. Let's see. This is a rehearsal.
This is a rehearsal. That is my lovely wife sitting right there at the end. I might add.
I'm glad she's putting up.
Got to give a pitch in for her. I've lived long enough.
So
I know
are you
that.
one of? Are you one of
I am one of the witnesses. It's called. I'm the one that'll say the school book depository is where they bought the book and this sort of thing. I didn't want to be in it, and they had to have somebody, and I said, well, they knew I'm a little older than most of those. In fact, I had most of the people that are in the trial. I had in school.
So wait a minute. You're saying you don't have to act too much to be an elderly person.
Memorization is a bit of an issue.
And I don't entertain for free, so I'm not.
There you go. You ain't cheap. You're entertaining, but you ain't cheap.
So,
I love it.
Yeah, that'll be the stage, and we'll have that decorated up. Now, this is
get back to it.
That is the way Brian did a lot of his things. On the back of a train car. Now, and so they took him. That's his body being taken from Dayton, being put into that car, and they went through every little town they could, and they would stop and let people walk around the body and stuff, kind of like almost exactly the way they did with Lincoln. I just got done with the Lincoln series, and it was kind of the same thing that he was a very well-respected man.
I'm kind of looking at the background there, and granted, that could be any place, I suppose, but it's kind of scrubby and scruffy. That's kind of what Tennessee looked like.
That's Dayton, Tennessee. I mean, it is still it's a average-sized town, about like Salem, Florida. They have an interstate right next to it, and that's helped build them up. But it wasn't anything. It wasn't like a big metropolis or anything at all. It was a small town, and everybody knew everybody, and that's how they were able to pull it off, because everybody knew everybody.
No, that's fantastic. I tell you what, again, folks, it is the 100 years after Scopes, the reenactment coming up on July 12th. Make plans to be there. Should be just a wonderfully fun time, and you had a chance for your kids. This is for the whole family. And
this is for everybody. I mean, we've got ice cream, everything else. We got the cars out there. People will be able to ask questions. There's going to be food trucks, just 3 of them, but I don't like them to work against each other. Got a coffee place coming now for you want an iced coffee. We'll have a lot of activities. We haven't got all that stuff completely in concrete yet, but there'll be a lot of things that people can do, and we do have 2 of them, so if you miss the first one, you can be there for the second one, and there'll be people to explain how everything's going.
We'll come back, wrap things up here with Jim and Myron here in just a second. Might talk a little bit about more recent history from about 54 years ago as opposed to 100 years ago. You're watching Big Talk with Bruce Dickey. Back after these. Stick around.
This is Christy, inviting you to wrap yourself in lasting luxury at Carnaby Square. We specialize in one-on-one customer service, high quality, head-turning, on-trend fashions, footwear, accessories, and a complete line of Brighton leather goods and jewelry. If you want to nix fast fashion and invest in a true-to-size, ethically manufactured wardrobe that you'll wear for years, it's time to treat yourself at Carnaby Square in downtown Fairfield.
Briscoe Surplus Sales on the northeast edge of Flora is your one-stop do-it-all shop. Looking for rugged boots and footwear from great brands like Lacrosse, Rocky, and Carolina? They're there. How about top-notch small engine parts and service? Briscoe Surplus Sales has it. Whether you're wiring your switches or switching your wiring, Briscoe Surplus Sales has the solution and the know-how to help you get the job done right the first time. Briscoe Surplus Sales, your one-stop do-it-all shop.
At Clay City Banking Company, we're all on the same team, regardless of zip code. At home, work, school, or across the country, you can be part of our team with our cutting-edge mobile banking products. From your hand, you can check balances, transfer money, make deposits, and pay bills. Looking for a loan? We've got you covered with our mortgage, agriculture, commercial, and consumer loans. Join our team today. Clay City, Flora, Louisville, and Fairfield Banking Companies. We're the hometown banks, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
When you want an honest deal and hometown service without the runaround, go to Lamont Chevrolet Chrysler in Fairfield. Let Gabe McGahey, Sheldon Bunning, Jeff Black, Dennis Downs, Matthew Rogers, or Caleb Dunn score the best deal for you on your next new or pre-owned vehicle. Parts and service departments with factory-trained technicians and express lane and state-of-the-art tire and alignment technology. Lamont always inspects your battery, antifreeze, wipers, and tires for free. We want you prepared for the open road ahead. Open 24/7 at LeMansOnline.com. You'll like the way we do business.
Connections. Hello, folks. Welcome back. Big Talk with Bruce Dickey here on Wabash Cats TV. Talking here with Jim Koehler along with Myron Lloyd about the Scopes Monkey Trial, the reenactment 100 after Scopes. What will is that the exact date? I'm trying to remember.
Yes, it is. It's 100 years of the trial.
Right.
Yeah, 1925.
The event again is set for July 12th at Bryan Memorial Park. You just drive there on North 37. You ain't going to miss it. You cannot miss it. And tell me a little bit, the reason you guys are into this and enjoy it, you help curate the Bryan birthplace home, right?
Yes.
Right. This is it. Tell me about this. Is gorgeous. That's a Christmas picture, but that car kind of gives you a thought of the time, right?
Right. Yeah. The home was built in 1852, so it is 173 years old approximately. We did have a wonderful young man that used to graduate from Salem, who is an architect now, historically inclined to that type of architecture.
Oh, really?
He did come in and study the house, so he substantiated everything that we know about the
kidding.
house.
Oh, that's
Right.
good.
Yeah, and he is coming out this summer, and we'll do an evening where people can come in. We'll have his drawings, his schematics, everything.
Where's he at? Where's he from now?
He's out of Ohio.
Okay.
Yeah, he lives in Ohio now.
Does he build? I guess this would be a classical style.
Right.
If I know my architecture.
He helps with people that are wanting to not redecorate but restore homes.
I see.
And it's interesting because some of his pictures that he sent me that he has done, I am now seeing come out like in magazines.
Oh, no kidding.
And they're part of advertisements and stuff. So I find that interesting, and like little cottages in the back of the house where maybe help would have lived. Back then they called them retainers.
Sure.
Or garden sheds, and you would be surprised, or maybe wouldn't be surprised, how much money people will spend
really
on something like that.
Wow.
To renovate.
If folks, if teachers or people are interested in seeing the place, how do they make a reservation with you folks? Just contact the home?
You can contact City Hall, which a lot of people have been doing lately, and then they'll put you in touch with one of us.
Okay.
Our phone numbers are listed on the home.
And throughout the winter and fall and spring, you get school groups quite a bit.
We're open at any time somebody wants to come, we will make it happen, even on the spur of the minute, if possible. Another thing we've been noticing now, this summer we already have two Salem Community High School class reunions.
Oh, really?
We had one over the weekend. They met at the museum in Salem, then they met at the Bryan home, and from the Bryan home they went and had lunch out at the Bryan statue.
Is that right?
The garden club had a big
the garden club had the thing over the weekend.
And so they went out there and got their lunches and
what year?
1965.
Okay.
The one coming in is 1975.
I was just the reason I asked. I was just wondering what age group would be interested. That's probably an age group that would be more interested.
Sweeney's Drugstore was the big where everybody met.
Yeah.
In the 70s. In the earlier years, it was the parents of these kids. It was at the Candy Kitchen.
Okay.
And there used to be a Sharika's Candy Kitchen in Flora too.
Yeah.
Well, this was the Powell's Candy Kitchen, and they both windows were filled. It made it, and the Sweeney sign up, and they were like they said, this just brings it back, the nickel Coke,
Now, that's cool. Again, all this is the reenactment takes place at Bryan Memorial Park on July 12th. One other piece of history that I got to tell you has probably is passing into oblivion that maybe folks don't realize was the Tontai train wreck. Yep. I didn't know about it, and I consider myself a pretty culturally literate, aware person. I didn't know about it until I saw the picture on the WJBD website. Tell me about the Tontai train wreck.
It was back in 1971. June 10th, I believe. Is that the right date?
I believe.
And the reason I'm bringing this up, there's an event coming up with this, right?
Right, and so it was the biggest train wreck in the state of Illinois, and I think it still is, so far as injuries and deaths and things. And so they had one person that no one claimed, it wasn't identified, so they buried him in the park. And I will tell you that the city of Salem put him in a top-notch vault, top-notch casket. And so we had a young man who went to the library, Henry Morton, and they were saying, you might like this book, and he read that, and so he got everything lined up. He's a sophomore at the University of Missouri. His father owns the medicine shop in town, and his grandfather.
Intellectual.
Yeah.
And he got everything lined up, came to the city council, and wanted to exhume this body because somebody needs to know who this person is.
Well, that's the thing. The identification methods are so much more advanced now.
Right. Back
than they
then,
were in 1971.
1971, nobody, they didn't have anything.
Yeah.
If they didn't have a driver's license or something like that, and nobody came to claim the body, so then they went out, and so this year on June 12th, I believe it was, a month before the activity in the park, they exhumed the body and took it to the funeral home, and they opened it up, and they found not one body, but two.
Wow.
And possibly another one, but they're not sure. They know that one of them, I think they just called him an adolescent, didn't they?
Adolescent, it wasn't a high school kid, it was a younger child, but they had molars, so it wasn't a baby.
Yeah. And so,
that'll all be revealed.
Yeah, we were told that there wasn't a head in there, and they found one. They found fingernail polish still on the woman, and they have hair. So the people there from the John Baby Doe, is that what it's called? John Doe. Were just shocked by it, as everybody else was.
And there will be there is an event planned, or
they're studying.
They're studying it right. Yeah, they're studying. They're
testing no particular thing.
Yeah, they're testing it right now, and it'll be. They gave us about a 6-month possible if they can find anyone that's related to them.
And finding more than one remains has complicated the time.
Yeah.
So they'll be doing 2 studies and possibly 3.
Well, that's just got to be fascinating.
It is. It's really
one comment that needs to be made to us that Henry's a very bright young man, and if you were with him, I can see him pursue this.
Yeah.
But his comment when they interviewed him was the reason I'm doing this is because their identity was taken from them, and they deserve it back.
Well, it's tremendously important.
That is.
What kind of perspective is that for a 20-year-old kid?
That explains the whole thing.
That's tremendous.
Yes. And that kind of took over that day. I've been to, in my career, I probably did 20 disinterments. They were all handled well, don't get me wrong, by everybody involved. This one, everybody was doing everything they could to make this as respectful and as clean and cut as they could. I was just amazed.
Well, that's fantastic. Folks, I just wanted to throw that in here at the end. So there's news upcoming. Eventually. News upcoming. But in the meantime, the Scopes Monkey reenactment is on, Monkey Trial reenactment set for July 12th. Fellas, outstanding again. Thank you so much. I'm going to have you. They're going to come back every week. I tell you. They're going to be here over and over and over.
Maybe I will entertain for free.
Thanks so much, folks. We'll see you next time on Big Talk. Have a great day.